Today we're looking at month number 9 of the Golden Age of comic books. This ties in with the release of Action Comics number 9 and the 9th appearance of Superman in comic books. These are all the comic books with a cover date of February 1939. Looking at this chart, we can see there were 21 comics released this particular month. This was down a bit from the month prior. 7 of the 21 comics on the list have 0 copies graded by the CGC in all conditions, including restored books. Simply, these books have never been sent in for grading. Now, in most cases, this is because they have a lower price tag, and therefore dealers just haven't wanted to spend the money on getting them graded. But sometimes this also happens because the books are literally that scarce, there just aren't any copies to be graded. So let's look at this chart a little closer and see what we learn about February 1939. Well, it turns out that Centaur and Dell were, as usual, the biggest publishers with the most quantity. Centaur relaunched Star Comics with a Volume 2, number 1. It's the only number 1 issue this month. And $129 for a low-grade copy, or $2,000 in high grade, based on the current Overstreet Price Guide Annual. 5 copies have been graded in total from the CGC, but no high-grade copies 9.0 or higher. Centaur also gave us a few other books this month, a couple number 2s, again, fairly low on the census, but a few copies at least, and higher than normal price tags. So if we do some analysis of what do we see for trends, well, Action Comics number 9 by far is the most common book graded on the census, and that is also because it is by far the most valuable book, and therefore, again, profit to be made. This book goes up in value in the price guide every year. So with profit to be made, it's more likely copies get graded. 25 copies in total of Action Comics number 9 have been graded, and 1 copy, by luck, in high grade has even been graded. Costs over $2,000 for a low-grade copy and $43,000 for a high-grade copy. So, if you wanted to buy 1 copy of every book on this list, Action Comics number 9 is 50% of the total value for the high grade. You'll see that the combined total to buy a set of these books is $88,000 for a high-grade set of all 21 books, or over $5,000 for a low-grade set. Once we pass Action Comics number 9, the next most valuable comics on the list are DC titles, primarily Detective Comics number 24. This is an early Crimson Avengers superhero issue. $900 low grade or $9,000 high grade, but still quite a scarce book. Only 7 copies graded in total and 1 high grade. After that, we jump over to Jumbo Comics number 6. 0 copies graded on the CGC census because this book was printed oversized and therefore cannot be graded by the CGC as it does not fit their cases. So Jumbo 6, $675 for low grade or $12,000. And again, this is early works from Jack Kirby, Will Eisner, and a whole bunch of big names who were working on Fiction House, and this was Fiction House's very first title ever published. Now on to issue number 6. What else do we see on the list? Well, let's look at the low end. Ace Comics number 23 from David Mckay Publications. Only $36 to buy a copy of this. This is the cheapest, most affordable book on the entire list. Still very scarce. Only 2 copies have been graded by the CGC in any condition and no high grade copies. And you can actually buy high grade for under $500. Now, I've said before in previous videos, if we take an estimate, just a guess, that if the average comic had a print run of 200,000 copies and there's 21 titles, that would mean we have over 4 million comics on the newsstands this particular month. Out of the 4 million books sold, only 90 of them have been graded by the CGC in all conditions, and only 13 of the 4 million books have survived and been graded by CGC in high grade 9.0 or higher. At this point, we're now into year number 7 of the modern standard comic book format, and at this point, over 450 comics had been published in the standard modern size.